welcome everyone to Nerd TV for another FTSR. This time coming from the Martin Sports Truck Series from this 1.0 mile simulated Dover Motor Speedway, or from the old race fans from back in the day, Dover Downs. As we're going to get set here for race 11 of 13 scheduled for this opening season for 2023, where these guys are going to try to tackle this 1.0 mile monster. Right now, Brandon Eller currently fastest on the charts, which he's been showing some speed recently. Fastest in practice, I think, last week, and here he is again on top of the boards. Want to talk about the weather real quick. I love to bring that up just in case you're very curious, and it's a big difference, track versus air temp. 105 on the track, 67 in the skies, almost a 40-degree difference there, and winds coming from the west at 5 miles an hour, which, I mean, these trucks have enough time struggling to get grip off corner exit here, which you will see that is going to be, if you're not used to Dover, well, turns 2 and turn 4, the exits, it is very tricky. The wall sneaks up on you real quick. There's elevation change. It's just like a little roller coaster, so to speak. So that's definitely going to be the watch areas for this evening. To my right hand side is going to be Mr. Jason Rockefeller again tonight. How are you doing over there?
Doing great, man. Ready to tackle the monster here tonight. Can't wait to be here this weekend, actually, in person. I go to Dover every year. Pocono's a little bit closer, but my family and I, we've always considered Dover our home racetrack. I know this track ins and outs. I know DuPont Highway, which is the highway it's right off of, heading into Delaware off Route 1 and Route 13. This track is like a second home to me, so it's always really special whenever I get to call a race here. And no matter what series it is, whether it's with Race Spot, whether it's with you guys at Nerd TV, or anywhere else, I really love this track. It's near and dear to my heart. And the great thing about this track here tonight, Jeremy, is this isn't really necessarily a super racy track. It's a driver's track. You have to keep the tires on it, and you feel like you are basically flying a fighter jet inside of a gymnasium, kind of like Bristol, but you're going really fast. You're not really on the brake. You got to conserve that right front tire, and that wall off turns 2 and off turns 4, as you see these guys coming at us right now, that wall comes at you a lot quicker than usual, but overall, happy to be here. Can't wait to see these guys tackle on the Monster Mile tonight.
What a great analogy there. A fighter jet in a gymnasium. Yeah, there's so many G's that you pull through compared to any other track on the circuit. High banks, really tight corner radius. And yeah, you have to conserve that right front. This track, I think, is number 1 when it comes to tire wear. Over the long run, you really have to back down your short run speeds to conserve that long run, or else you're just a sit and duck. You're going to either have really bad tire wear on the rear tires, just trying to get any grip, or you're going to be plowing like a dump truck, and you're just going to be lifting and waiting until you get to the straightaway, which, you know, there's a short straightaway on this track, but you have to get as much speed as you can through those straightaways to kind of maximize your lap time. I also want to quick mention, I always forget his name before the race starts, but Mr. Dustin Loxton, our producer tonight, bringing all the camera action to you each and every time. Not sure if he has the camera on him tonight per se, but I'd love to give him a shout out, and he loves to fly those drones for us. He's got all the different action. There he is. Caught him on the fly. How's it going?
Hey, it's Dover. It's definitely a fun track. It's a challenging track. I think Jason said it best. It's a driver's track. I mean, you're racing the track more than you are the actual, competitors on there. So and these guys have always put on a good show here at Dover. I mean, statistically, FTSR's shows at Dover are, phenomenal. So I would expect nothing less tonight.
No, you're definitely not wrong there. Over almost 30 guys in this field. I think maybe right at 30. As practice has about a minute left. Just want to do a quick recap of the points here. We got 3 races left, including tonight to end out season 2023A. 2 guys really in contention on that one. Richie Coy leading the way, 33 points over second place. Also his teammate, Mr. Brody Hanna, who gained some points last week on Richie, but he's got 3 races to compensate for 33 points to try to get there. But that's just one championship. We haven't really mentioned it, but this FTSR League runs an entire actual NASCAR series schedule, just broken up into 4 different segments, A, B, C, D. And so they crown a champion for A, they crown a champion for B, C, and then D is really just a short series, which is the 10-race playoff system. to kind of seal up the D champion and or not really D champion, but the overall champion. So you get 3 championships mid-season, and then 1 to take over the actual points, which is A, B, and C combined. So it's kind of a cool, unique system you don't see anywhere else. So Richie Coyne, Brody Hand are duking out for Season A championship. As practice does wind down, we love to give the camera to the guy the fastest in practice, and Brandon Elder is that guy. Let's see if he gets on track first, or anybody really inside the top 5. They get on track, we'll be able to catch their run this lap time around here. Which, pay attention to these lap times, like how they run the track. Everyone has a different approach. You get to the bottom early. Sometimes people like to really widen out the corner entrance. Just a lot of different strategies here, Jason.
Yeah, for sure. And this is perfect, coming off pit road here. Brandon Elder had a really strong run just a couple days ago at Talladega. Unfortunately, got taken out. Him and Wayne Grossi in the 7 were working very well together. But anyways, here you go. You go from the top. You kind of start to dive down to the bottom. You got really loose there coming to the start-finish line. You want to try to lay off right before that dip heading into the corner. And you want to pin those left sides about a foot or so off of that apron where that black strip of asphalt is right there. And again, you want to lay off right before going to the bump. You want to hug that line as best as you can. You want to get up on the throttle, and that wall's going to come at you way quicker than you think straight away, and that's a lap at Dover. It happens just like that, Jeremy. I can't even speak because it's all happening so quick. And top of the board right now, 22:40 for Brandon Elder. So I guess getting into turn 1 and getting a little bit loose or tight actually wasn't that bad, because he's the fastest one on the racetrack right now.
Really wide here through 3 and 4. This will not be a faster lap than 2, and he makes wall contact there. Comes across the line, 1/10 slower to 574. Still leading 3/100ths of a second over second place now, Richie Coy, who also put on a really good lap. There's a lot of different ways to take these corners, like I said. Usually the fast laps early on, you're going to see them hug the bottom. A lot of the setups, though, people like to dime in the corner. You enter a little low, and then you scoot up the track maybe a half a truck length, and then you bring it back down to the very bottom before you get the corner exit. You do that just to really straighten out your corner exit. If you can keep that wheel straight, you carry more speed through the straightaway, but at the same time you give up a lot of tire wear, some excess tire heat through the center of the corner. So it really just depends on, like you said, it's a driver's track, right? So you just have to drive it to what you think will be best for your machine.
Yeah, I'm taking a nice swig of water right now. Probably what these guys are going to be needing here after they turn however many laps they're doing here tonight, because it is a driver's racetrack, Jeremy, like we talked about. And you talked about tire conservation. That's the thing. When it comes time, and I'm going to use my buddy Kenny here. I always use him because he's been practically my mentor on iRacing throughout these last 2 years I've been on the service. He always told me, it is a good mentor. Kenny is a very good mentor. And the thing is, when it came to Dover, Kenny always told me, you want to make sure you lay off before those humps going into turns 1 and into turns 3, like we talked about in qualifying, as you see Ryan Chapman doing basically just as what I said. But also, push the car for only about 3 laps. Then you really want to start tire saving. Don't get on that throttle as much up on the loud pedal in the center of the corner coming off exit. You really don't want to kind of get onto the full throttle until you are fully straight off the corner. Like right there, Justin Dill should be full throttle. Coming in right here, heading into turn 1, laying off, let the car coast. Easily get back on the throttle, and then you just want to kind of coast it a little bit, and then get back on the throttle gradually, then you're full throttle. Same goes for off turn 4 and into 3 and 4 here pretty much. But obviously these guys are going a little bit more full, like a little bit more throttle than what you usually would. Justin Diltz didn't seem like he had enough into turn 1 and into turn 3 though. He was a lot tighter than most of those guys who've been hugging the bottom recently.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to lay off the throttle, like you said, as best as you can until you get to the straightaway. Because you just, this track, the concrete, the speeds, the angle of the corner, you just eat up those tires, right? So you can't go as fast as you want to on these short runs. Even on the long runs, if you try to push it 1 or 2 laps, the tires say, nope, I'm done. And so you will see some guys, this track especially, you'll see them short run strategy, you'll see some spacing out there. And then long run, you'll probably see guys that are 15th, 16th, 17th place up until about lap 20, 30. And then all of a sudden, around 50 or 60, you're going to see them inside the top 5 just because, people have different strategies. Maybe they want to try to catch a caution early. It's whatever they have. They've talked to their teams. They know what they want to do, and you're going to see that here tonight. I want to make a mention, too. Ryan Chapman was your points leader essentially up until Talladega almost a couple weeks ago. He missed last week, and so his points have dropped down to 55 below points leader Richie Coy. So that's why you don't see him in the points lead if you are following FTSR's website and looking over the point standings each and every week. Currently sitting in third, but still, nonetheless, he's got great points heading into the rest of the season. So just hopefully he can get a good solid 3 finishes here to end this one out to set himself up for the rest of the season. But looks like qualifying is over, Jason. And Brandon Elder is kind of on a hot streak here, as Dustin waves to you guys. We will see him on the flip side of the post-race show presented by Martin Sports. And you're going to get rid of our faces too, because we're going to turn our attention full screen to the guys on the starting order here. Brandon Elder, P1. Richie Coy is going to start alongside him, points leader there in P2. Lane Allen's going to start in 3rd. Sherwood Williford's going to start in 4th. Sylvain Jolly is going to take the top 5. Tyler Brown, find him in 6th place. Bobby Terrell, 7th. Brian Bliss, 8th place. Cody McKinney, 9th. And tonight's top 10 truck, Mr. Brodiana.
Yeah, round out the top 20. You got Tommy Schaefer, the number 29 machine. He starts 11th. Ryan Chapman, you talked about him dropping in the points due to not being at Talladega last week. He's 12th. Joey McKinney, he'll be 13th. Kyle Milliken, 14th. JP Burns in the number 99 machine. He'll start 15th inside that top 15 spot. Robert Millikian, he'll start 16th. Stephen Hollingsworth, 17th. Tony Solari from Fury Motorsports in 18th. TJ Bartel, 19th. And Steve Loomis in the number 17 machine rounds out the top 20.
21st, you're going to find the number 2 of Alan Duranco. 22nd, Randy Henshaw. 23rd place, Maxwell Solsch. 24th, Jeff Brayton. 25th, Justin Diltz. 26th, Colton Gum. And the last 4 did not qualify. 27th, Rick Webb. 28th, Shad Curran. 29th, Michael Blackner. And the last place truck right at truck number 30, Mr. Steve Angie. And it's going to round out your tonight's 30 truck lineup here as these guys are going to go around a pace lap or 2 around this track before we're going to settle out 150 laps at Dover International Speedway if it's on the game, or Dover Motor Speedway if you're talking about the real track. iRacing has different names for this place apparently, but that's all good. Stage break, you're going to find that at lap 40. So first 40 laps, caution, at least one guaranteed, presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. And they're going to go an additional 100 laps, maybe 105, whenever they go back to green flag after that to settle up this thing. One of the quicker races of the season. So this track is fast, and there's not as many miles as they usually run here.
Twitch.
So, you know, be on your strategy, be on your game. Don't make any mistakes. The wall is right next to you at all times. Front stretch, back stretch, does not matter, high or low. Any mistake, this track will eat you up alive. That's why they call it the monster. Pace car is down, waiting for Brandon Elder to hit the gas pedal here to signal the green flag to start this 150 laps. And green flag flies while they're still in turn number 4. Watch out for that tire spin. Looks like everyone has a really good start and goes through the gears as they go through turn 1, Jason.
Yeah, Elder, great start, but guess what? Right up on the outside there, that is Richie Coy, I believe, in the number 19 machine. He's down the back straightaway, trying to get up to the outside. He'll do that, and the 51 of the 51, he's going to be to the outside, and obviously now kind of dropping back, but the 19 of Coy, he is going to be able to take that stop spot going into turn 1.
Yeah,
scoring pylons off.
Single filing out here quiet early. Richie Coy out there by 3 truck lengths. There's just a massive amount of trucks still trying to sort themselves out early through this opening few laps here. Single file essentially back until you get to about 10th place or 11th or so. Brian Bliss on the top side here. Looks like he's going to fall back a couple spots from 8th place starting. Already rounding himself in 10th place as Mr. Joseph McKinney on the 18 tries to get around on the bottom. Number 3, Brian Bliss, needs to get to the bottom early. This track is not good on the mid line when it comes to tire conservation. So early on, you don't want to push the truck any more than you need to. But right now, it's like a little freight train. He cannot get to the bottom as he actually scrapes the wall with a little bit of wall glue coming through the front stretch.
Yeah, and that was actually a lot of wall glue, and for the folks at home, too, a little bit of a technical issue with the scoreboard there. That's why I was so hesitant to call Brandon Elder's truck in the 3 car.
It's fixed now.
After the 3 truck actually hits the wall, but being told it is fixed now. Brian Bliss again in the wall, though, off turn number 2. He might catch the wall here off 4 again, and 1 truck hard up into the outside wall. That's the 89 of Maxwell Solsch. Again, a driver who's been struggling these last few weeks here in the Martin Sports Truck Series, so he smacks the wall off turn 4. But like you were talking about, Jeremy, with the tire conservation, want to give a little bit of some insider info. This week, if you ran an entire C-fixed race, which is 50 laps here at Dover, that goes green all the way, if you save your tires just enough, you will only have 1% of tread left on the right front. So tire conservation is going to be absolutely key. Probably one of the most key racetracks when it comes to tire conservation this entire season for these Martin Sports Truck Series guys.
And if that's your tire percentage, I don't know if that's a great amount of tires saved or if that's just you just digging it. I know back a month or so ago, ran the same setup with a friend at Sebring for the Sebring 12-hour, and I was running 20% on the right, or the front tires, and he was running 60 to 70s with the same lap count. So, but there's just so many ways to tackle this track, right? So if you try to push it any more than what the truck or car can do, yeah, you will find yourself basically running the cords, getting that meatball to come down to change those tires before you blow the tire, then and eventually hitting the wall because this track has there's no way to park the truck safely. There's just walls everywhere, high banks. It's just not a fun track when you're in danger like that. But this field is spaced out really good, except for a side-by-side action here. Really, Tommy Schaefer truck gets a little upset. I think he bounced off the apron there through turn 1, right in front of Brody Hanna, the 00 Tyler Brown, and the 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth, trying to duke it out here for just inside the top 10.
Yeah, but you can just see right now, Jeremy, how key that inside lane is. Tyler Brown finally able to slot back in line behind Stephen Hollingsworth right now. So, unfortunate for Tyler, but you could just see that outside lane is not able to prevail whatsoever here. Once you get about 5 laps into a run, that outside lane is really only good for about 1 lap. This is a bottom dominant racetrack, and like we talked about, a driver's racetrack. You need to save all run long if you want to try to be fast towards the end of those runs. And obviously it's not going to mean a lot right now, but towards the end of these races, it's going to be huge for these guys if they do get that long green flag run towards the end, and you can go about 40 to 50 laps on a set of tires. So you'll probably be seeing guys pit later on in lap 40 to 50 increments. So we'll have to see how the tire wear does play effects. We ride on board with Kyle Milliken here in the 42 machine, as he's looking right now to try to put some fire down on that number 16 and that number 18 machine just up ahead of him.
And you're looking on board here with him, and there's a few trucks ahead of you. That's going to be the number 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth. I've been actually paying attention to him because we talked about tire wear. You got to conserve, but people have different strategies, right? They want to get to the front early. I'm paying attention to Hollingsworth specifically because he started 17th. We're only 13 laps in. Last lap, he was already in 9th. So he had passed 8 trucks through those first 11 or 12 laps, and then all of a sudden he's starting to drop back. He's already lost 2 spots since a lap ago, and right now he's under pressure from the number 1 of TJ Bartel as well. So, 15 laps in, we're already starting to see some tire wear fall off early on. Good thing there's a stage break this year for the FTSR guys, so he's able to, see what he can't do to maybe tweak that to fit his strategy around this track. But outside of that, Jason, there's only all single file action around the track.
Yeah, right now that's pretty much how it is, and like we're just gonna keep talking about tire wear. Stage break is after lap 40, so these guys are pretty much gonna go an entire an entire tire run practically. So they really need to save if they want to try to use the last 20 to last 15 laps here, as we're already approaching lap 20. We're only 5 laps away right now from hitting lap 20, or 4 laps away, excuse me, as we ride on board with Tyler Brown, who has gotten back around Brody Hanna in the 23 machine. But these guys got to keep on saving them tires. I want to say the last 10 laps of this run, that's when you want to push it. Heck, maybe even not till 5 laps to go in the stage. But right now, I mean, it's all Richie Coy up in the front, but Brandon Elder is still right there. He's about 2 to 3/10 of a second back. Richie Coy, though, has just been very, very fast recently. Up by about, we actually have a caution out on the racetrack, so this might shake up a lot of strategies here for the end of the stage, Jeremy.
Yeah, trying to find that wreck right now. I didn't see it initially here, trying to cycle through and see where that might have taken place. Still scanning the track here. It looks like the 17, Stephen Loomis, going through turns 3 here with the 32 truck of Randy Henshaw. And there was a little bit of a netcode contact situation there, and it sends the 17 up into the outside catch fence just enough to send the truck basically back straight. But this track's such a tight quarter track that iRacing officials were like, you know what? Looks like there's a truck in danger. He's a little off pace. We're going to go ahead and be safe and throw the caution here for him. But there's not much damage to that 17 of Steve Loomis. He's able to probably pit and get that thing fixed up. And here you go. See Henshaw just coming through the corner really wide, way wider than what the 17 expected. He comes down a little bit, finds the right front fender there of Henshaw and sends him into the outside wall. But it's a fast track, but it's also not like a super high speed track. So a little bit of damage like that. I think the crew's going to be able to get that thing repaired and on his way.
Yeah, I want to know real quick to our producer, Dustin, if maybe we can get a look at that right rear on Steve Loomis's truck from a drone shot. Because depending on the way that he did hit that wall, he might have slapped it a little bit with that right front fender. But right here, you can see the damage on the left rear of this truck right here. And we're already getting some great damage shots. You see the right rear quarter panel right there. It's dug in just a little bit. And yes, he does have some right front damage right there. You could see as long as that fender isn't dragging on that right front tire right there, it's not really going to affect him all that much, but you can see it's just pushed in a little bit. I want to say Steve Loomis is going to have a very, very tough time, not only on the short run, but definitely on the long run because of that damage all the way down the right side, all the way to the spoiler on that number 17 Silverado.
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of an aero disadvantage there, but we'll see how that plays out for him. You don't need a perfectly pristine truck on the exterior shell to run fast here. You definitely need it to, look okay, but you can't have it too beat up. But we'll see how that plays for him here as his first truck really has any damage. As he was running about mid-pack, so we'll have to keep up to date on how he performs. We are side by side. We're getting ready to go back to green flag action here for the second time this evening. Coming through the back stretch right now, Richie Coy going to lead this thing off on lap 19, lap 20. We're going to get that green flag out. And we'll see what these guys can do for the final 20 laps before stage 1.
Yeah, we'll have to find out right here to see who's going to be able to get this. And, obviously with strategies varying right now, I mean, nobody up inside all the way up to right now Maxwell Solch, Stephen Hongsworth, all those other guys pitted, so they're going to be flying on those fresh Goodyear Eagles. But this is an opportunity for a lot of guys to try to attack on maybe something they might have not had here when they take this green flag.
In which the green flag is out. Richie Coy gets a decent start here. He's going to clear the 51 of Brandon Elder before they even get to turn number 1. About the same stories we saw last restart, or start of the race actually here. But this time 28, Cody McKinney's going to get a great launch through turns 1 and 2 and actually going to try to tackle your race leaders. He goes to turn number 3 and almost gets him cleared here. Richie Coy runs a little high up the track, diamonds it back down on the bottom half of the track. Let's see if he gets a great launch off the corner, and he does not. The 28 of McKinney going to gain 2 spots here on that first lap of the restart, find himself some P1.
Yeah, now Richie Coy, what he's got to do is he's just got to follow 28's line. Try to run a little bit better than him, obviously, but you want to try to still keep those left sides right down by that asphalt. Try to diamond the corner maybe a little bit. That tends to help. I mean, you're only going to have 10 laps here. Right now, coming to the line, 9 laps to go till the end of the stage. So if you're Richie Coy, you know that you have one of the fastest trucks here. I mean, there's not really much you could do lane-wise, but if you could get to the inside of Cody McKinney, you might be able to do something. But right now, Jeremy, Cody McKinney is just flying right now. He's already out to his 7/10 of a second lead over Richie Coy. And by the way, that number 28 machine, if my calculations are correct, is by far, besides Steve Angie, the highest. Oh, we got a big wreck heading into turn 1. The one's around, big pile up. It's the monster striking into turn number 1. The monster was hungry, and we got one upside down, and that is the number 1 machine of TJ Bartel. Man, oh man, Jeremy, the monster did not want to wait. He decided to have his supper early tonight.
Monster Miles definitely hungry here, and it looks like a little bit of a tight squeeze here. They came up to the slower truck at Tommy Schaefer. TJ Bartel tries to squeeze to the top side here. You're going to see that. And then he just runs out of real estate with Kyle Milliken there on the top as we're kind of focusing on here. of the 55 of Jeff Brayton and just absolutely T-bones and crushes the 2 truck there of Alan Duranco. You see the 99 come in there with J.P. Burns. Also cleans the front end of the 55 there. There was a ton of trucks involved. You see right there, the number 1, T.J. Bartel, just gets hooked in the right rear just because of that pass he tried to make on the 29. And here he comes down the track in front of the 2. And look, these guys are on the bottom at full speed. So now they're going to wash up naturally because so much speed here in a tight corner. Just barely misses the 42, and there it is. Oh, man. The 32 just absolutely gets obliterated. The 55, the 91 of Dilts comes through and barely. Oh, we got to get an onboard shot of him. That was great.
Look at
Brian
Tony
Bliss,
Solari barely making it through, too.
Yeah, Tony Solari. Stephen Hollingsworth barely, but a lot of trucks, though, damaged after this one.
That was one of the most awkward flips, too, I've ever seen here at Dover. And I was there for Joey Logano's flip back in 2009. And I want to say that was a very awkward flip, even besides being on the sim. And I know, obviously, physics aren't, fully up to standards. But here we go. Tony Solari getting hard in the braking zone. There's cars flying everywhere, right, left, sideways, up in the air, basically, almost, if you count the 1. And he gets through all the carnage right there. Lots of drivers besides that number 11 machine. I think he's got a little bit of damage on the right rear, but that's not going to do anything really to it. And yes, he does. He has some right rear damage there, lifting up the spoiler a little bit. It's going to help with some drag, but not really going to be any kind of advantage for him. But a lot of guys involved right there. I cannot believe the way that played out. And here we're on board with Justin Dilts. He gets through it, just gets tagged a little bit by the 32, but then that comes through unscathed.
Man, just barely ekes through there, that wreck. That could have been big. He had a lot of speed, too, so it was either make it through or you're toast. And thankfully he made it through. We're going to go on board one more time from the roof camera. Another awesome shot here as Dustin is behind the scenes producing all the camera angles again. There's the big wreck there. 4 or 5 trucks already getting destroyed. Just look how close the Henshaw is. Just barely contacts the left front fender. It almost took off the rear end of the truck, but thankfully just scraped some paint off. And man, Justin Dilts comes out of that thing unscathed. That could have been a lot worse for him.
Yeah, it definitely could have been a lot worse for him. And also, mind the fact, too, some of these guys, I'm kind of surprised. None of them decided to come to pit road, sacrifice some stage points. I mean, for example, honestly, in my opinion, I think if you're Tony Solari, you're Joey McKinney, Kyle Milliken, come into the pits, man. Take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. You're only going to have a handful of laps left in this stage when you come back green. I believe at one point I did say it was like 10 laps to go. That's my mistake. We're just about to start approaching to 10 laps to go in the stage.
Correct.
This stage will end at the end of lap 40. So, I mean, maybe if you're them, try to pit. Save some tires a little bit. You don't got to run hard. You're not going to get anywhere. I mean, unless you want to try to waste a tire set and drive all the way up towards the front, but you're not going to have enough time to do so. And think about it. If you pit and you were to ride around the back, then when these guys pit ahead of you, you don't have to pit because you're still on somewhat fresh tires just from saving. But obviously, that's not going to happen, though. So everybody inside the top 18 did not pit. The first driver who has 2 stops on his list was Brian Bliss. He's had 2 stops tonight, and he's in 21st right now. But Chad Curran there in the number 66 machine and Steve Loomis, they both pitted one time, and they're 19th and 20th.
Yeah, I was so close to correcting your lap count, and then the big one happened there early on. So, yeah, I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, we got going to be 13 to go at the line, I do believe. Cody McKinney with an excellent start last restart, 3rd to 1st before he got to turn 3, essentially. Let's see what kind of restart he can do as your race leader. I did not expect him to really, he was about mid-pack, maybe top 10 in practice, qualified 9th. Did not expect Cody to be up here early, but I guess that short truck, or that short run speed this truck has is something to look out for. When it comes to the long run on stage 2, that might play a different story, but pace car is down, waiting for the green flag to fly for the 3rd time here. We know our flagman has that thing out super early, just waiting for the actual server green flag, and there it is. Green flag is out. Watch out for that tire spin. There's now 27 laps on these tires, and it looks like Richie Coy is going to match that restart speed from the 28 of McKinney. Sylvain Jolly up a couple spots. He's fighting for 3rd now with Tyler Brown as they go through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Sylvain Jolly had a great top 5 last weekend at Talladega, and here he is tonight at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware, trying to do the exact same, if not trying to go all the way up to 1st. He's side by side currently with Tyler Brown. This time by, they're going to hit lap 29 here out of the 40 laps ran in the stage. Cody McKinney still leads. Richie Coy second. Tyler Brown third. Sylvain Jolly fourth. And Brandon Elder has fallen all the way back to the 5th spot. That's your top 5 as they come around to take lap 30.
Yeah, Brandon Elder found himself in a particular position on that last restart, got himself 3 wide early and had a lift on the top, and he was able to lose a couple spots. So he's residing in 5th and just kind of hanging tight here as we have 11 to go at that time across the line here. Some guys trying to cycle through at least to the top 10, because top 10, you get stage points, right? So you want to be in spot to gain as many points as possible here as we come up to 10 laps to go this time around. Richie Coy falling back a little bit here. He's sitting in 3rd place. Now Sylvain Jolly in 4th on his tail, trying to take over that 3rd place.
Yeah, Richie Coy, not obviously we've had 2 cautions now pretty much. So I still want to see how Richie Coy can do when he does get that 40 lap long run, which we haven't had yet, because we have seen continuously Richie Coy is one of the good guys at saving tires when it gets late into a run. We saw it at Coda in both, I believe it was the Trucks and the Cup Series. So going to be interesting to see if Richie Coy can get that long run, but right now he's struggling, man. Currently, you see the 33 of Sherwood Williford all the way up the track, and that Kevin Harvick Taz throw back there, but he was able to clear Brody Hanna there, who currently slots all the way back just outside the top 10 and 11th. But going to be interesting to see if Richie Coy can do something with this truck once the stage ends here at lap 40.
Yeah, it looks like he needs that long run tweaked a little bit right now. Cody McKinney of McKinney Motorsports. One of 2 drivers essentially left. One of his drivers, Randy Henshaw, got wrecked in that big one just a handful of laps ago. So 2 trucks left on that team. One leading the race, one sitting in 14th place. So a little bit of a separation there from those 2 teammates is about mid-pack. It looks like there was a little bit of a slide action there by Kyle Milliken in the 42. A little ill handling here as he's got 7 laps to go to get that thing to the caution flag to maybe get that truck reset. But a couple of these guys have already started changing positions and in a hurry. Steve Angie started 30th, is up to 19th. You flip the coin a little bit, and you see guys like Brian Bliss starting 8th, falling back to 18th, and you see guys like Justin Dillis 25 to 17th. So a lot of flipping and flopping here early on in this race.
Yeah, for sure. And Stephen Hollingsworth, one of the drivers who had to pit that last time around, he's all the way back up inside the top 15 right now. Currently running 23.14s right now compared to everybody else who's about a 10th or so off right now his speeds. So going to be interesting to see what Steven does possibly when the stage does end. Like I said, a lot of those guys back there. Going to be interesting to see if they stay out, if they decide to come to pit road. I can't picture most of them staying out, maybe 1 or 2. But as this stage ends, you do talk about, Jeremy, everybody's really starting to flip-flop positions. Everybody's starting to shuffle out. You're starting to see and kind of determine the men from the boys. But obviously, you can't really determine the men from the boys 100% fully just yet. We've had 2 cautions. We haven't had a long run yet. Cody McKinney, obviously so far, as we're approaching the end of stage 1, Cody has been doing a great job out front, was able to pass Richie Coy, and Richie is now -5 back from where he started, currently in 7th. But there's a lot of guys up here who I didn't really expect to see currently. You got Bobby Terrell, but also mind the fact he was the former winner of the last Dover race that the Martin Sports Truck Series had here, I believe, and also Robert. I always mispronounce his name. Robert Malikian there, and the number 16 machine. He's up to 6 right now, and he's +10. And you'll see Sylvain Jolly get loose out of 4, but everybody's still shuffling around here, Jeremy.
That is the correct pronunciation there. It took you a minute, but it's okay. It's one of the tough ones out here. Yeah, 2 laps to go. Pit road is closed. These guys cannot pit for the final 2 laps before stage end here. Cody McKinney, the 28, leads Tyler Brown in the 00 by 0.3 of a second. Now 0.4 for the final lap here. I don't think there's going to be any change of power inside this top 2. Sylvain Jolly has moved up to 3rd, under fire here by the 27 of Chapman as he's temporarily side by side with Bobby Terrell in the 4, trying to do something here in the very last moment of this stage 1 here. Dead heat coming for 3rd place. Off of exit of turn 4. Who's going to get it? Looks like it's going to be the 08 of Sylvain Jolly going to take home 3rd place for this stage 1 end here. Is waiting for the official caution, and there it is, presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. Stage 1 complete. Cody McKinney gets his 10 points, winning his stage here at Dover. And as these guys are winding down, they're going to be headed down to pit road. This is going to be our time to thank our sponsors here with a picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back with you guys right before the drop of the green flag for stage 2. And back to full screen action here as we're getting set here for stage 2. As we're going to go 2 more pace laps before we officially take the green flag. As we're going to go through our top 10 recap presented by Nerd TV. First place out of pit road. It's going to be that 28, looks like, of Cody McKinney, who had a really good restart on the second restart of this race and was able to pass second and first place on that same lap. And he has not left the lead since then. Tyler Brown started 6th place. Going to be sitting in second on this restart. That truck, didn't expect him to be up here in the top 2, but here he is, showing a really impressive speed early on, kind of mixing it up here. 3rd place, one of your highest movers tonight, Mr. Ryan Chapman, started in 12th, finding himself in 3rd place. Again, another truck that has a really good short run speed. Let's see if we can hold on for the final 100 laps or so here through the long run session of this race. Sylvain Jolly started 5th, now in 4th. Just holding tight here in the top 5 all race long. That truck's been performing very well, very consistent, and haven't seen any issues through him. 5th place, Bobby Terrell in that Ford machine. He did start in 7th place, also just kind of hanging tight just outside the top 5 for the most part of this race. Let's see what he's got for the long run. Robert Malikian going to be restarting in 6th, up 10 spots from his starting spot. Richie Coy in 7th place. Started 2nd, finished 7th on that stage. Looks like he's got the short run truck, but when it comes to the long run, well, only time will tell there. It looks like he's fallen back a few spots early on. 8th place, Brandon Elder, your pole sitter, had a bad restart a couple restarts ago. That's the only reason why he's in 8th. Outside of that, I think he would be just, sitting nice inside the top 3 or 4. But we'll see if he can regroup and get that thing back up to where he wants it. 9th place, Stephen Hollingsworth there in that 50. Started 17th up to 9th, 8 spots gained for him. Let's see if he can continue the momentum. And Brody Hanna started 10th, currently in 10th, just kind of hanging tight here. Just on that top 10. Let's see if he has any extra speed with his teammate Richie Coy to get up there and battle for the top spots. They're going through turns 3 and 4 to get this thing back to green flag. Cody McKinney. Let's see if he can get a great restart here. He matched the speed of last restart with Richie Core on the top. This time he's going to find Tyler Brown. Let's see what Tyler Brown can do on the start. Maybe he can, surprise him and take the lead as he is getting ready on that throttle a couple times early. Trying to intimidate the 28 for the start. Green flag is out for stage number 2. Great start here by the 28 and the 00. They are side by side as they go through turn 1 here, Jason.
Everybody 2 by 2 by 2 continuously throughout the field. Cody McKinney, though, wraps the bottom on the sweeping left-hander here at Dover. Down the back straightaway underneath. No, and Tyler Brown looks like he just got up and into the wall. He falls all the way back to the 6th spot. He's dropping even more. He's dropping like a fly right now that just got fly swatted currently, if it were to be said, at a turn number 2. That truck might have some damage. It's not really looking like it, but right there off turn number 2 on the restart, the 00 got hecka loose right there, if that's even a word. And he didn't even make contact with the wall. What a job done by Tyler Brown. I guarantee you, though, Jeremy, Tyler Brown was probably using some Martin sports gloves as the 51 is up and into the wall. Brandon Elder, your pole sitter, up and into the wall off turn number 4. It's chaos here on the restart these first 2 to 3 laps.
Second time I think the 51 has found the wall this evening. We're not even 50 laps in. Tyler Brown, that 00, shout out to him. You shouted out that he didn't hit the wall from a hecka save, if that is a word like you said. But I'm more impressed with how he kept it on the bottom of the track. He was 3 wide entering turn 3, and he didn't slide up an inch off the apron line. So he's able to keep it down, avoid anyone from being in a bad spot, and everything sorted itself out. He did lose 7 spots on that mess up there, but now he's safe and secure. He's got his ground back, and he just has to find the momentum, find his line. Don't try to rush back to where you were. Save those tires. Let the field come to you if they're going to try to do something early here in this stage. But yeah, great job by everybody to avoid a wreck there, and now everyone's all single file.
Yeah, and look at this right now, too. Plus 10 positions from where he started. Ryan Chapman, the guy you said missed the race last week. Here he is battling for the lead. You talked about it, Jeremy. These last 3 races of Season A, you just want to come out here. Now that he knows he's 55 points back, he just wants to try to have a really good next 3 races. And here he is battling for the lead with Cody McKinney. Got really loose there off 2. That opens up the door for Bobby Terrell, which is last Dover Trips winner here. Back in, I believe you said it was Season D before pre-race. So he's looking to try to make it up into the top 2 as you ride on board with Chapman and Terrell with the door wide open. Put about a truck length between those 2. Terrell's going to go flying by on the bottom side of the racetrack, and he's going to try to go chase down Cody McKinney in the 28 for the race lead as they head underneath the Ally Bridge into turns 3 and 4.
As you're still riding on board here with 27 of Chapman, the highest running elevated esports racing machine right now, currently in 3rd place. Looking forward to Bobby Terrell, who's part of Fury Motorsports. And then McKinney Racing still leading this race with Cody McKinney leading out the charge. His teammate's still in 14th, so big separation between them 2. But Bobby Terrell, as you're still on board with Ryan Chapman, you are seeing the race for the race lead as the 4 gets a great center through 3 and 4, able to run the bottom, hook it really well, and just cleanly pass the 28 of Cody. Exits turn 4, not a problem. Single filed right back out, and then Bobby Terrell's already gained 3 or 4 truck links over the 28 here. Excellent job there, new race leader, number 4, Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, and you're going to see right here the 4, he just rolls a lot better through the center, and you see the 28, it looks like he kind of lays off right there through the center all the way to the exit of the corner. So shout out to Cody McKinney. Didn't want to race the 4, didn't want to run up in the outside where all the marbles were, and didn't want to risk his right front getting shredded just because he was going to be racing the 4 for the lead off turn number 4. So good job, heads-up driving by Cody McKinney there in the number 28 machine as they work off turn number 4. And I believe that's Brandon Elder going a lap down. He is consistently in the wall, or that's Steve Loomis, excuse me, in the number 17 machine. He is 4 laps down, and he just keeps on smacking the wall. A driver we talked about just before, Jeremy, at the end of that stage where we said it, the right front was going to be an issue, or he was part of the first caution, and, he's just been struggling since that incident. Here he is right now. He is getting passed tremendously off these corners here. That truck is extremely slow.
I'm going to take all my words back. Yeah, he was a part of that incident coming through turn 3 where he came down on the fender of Randy Henshaw on the 32 early on. I think it was like lap 13. Hit the wall, and I said something about your truck doesn't have to look too terribly bad and be able to still perform well, but I'm going to take that back because at 17, after reporting on him later on this race, he is not looking good. Already a lap down. The truck looks like it's very ill, very slow. So tough break there for Steve Loomis to ride around this race. He got another one up on the wall there. A little bit of wall glide. That was the 17 once again. And you mentioned Brandon Elder too. He is also continuing to fall back. The 51 is now in 17th place, unable to regroup since he hit the wall early on this last restart to start stage 2. Just cannot find speed in that truck. So I don't know if one of those wall touches that he had knocked out the toe a little bit, knocked something a little loose, or just making the truck drive just a little tighter. Whatever the case is, the 51, that's a hard break. He had fastest practice time, qualified first. He was looking like he was going to be a great contender, and just a couple mistakes, and now he's found himself in 17th.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, Jeremy, is somebody who's been coming to the Monster here since 2008, haven't missed a race besides 2020 and the 2018 fall race. I'll tell you what, man, this racetrack, we talked about it during pre-race, it is a driver's track. Do not ever, and I mean ever, underestimate the Monster. You may think to yourself that you could push the truck to certain limits that you think that you could push, or push it to, like Brandon Elder did in practicing qualifying, but here he is right now running all the way back in the 17th spot, minus 16 from where he started. Obviously, your pole sitter for tonight's race here at the Dover Motor Speedway. But that's the thing, a lot of these drivers, you can see the right sides of those trucks all scraped up here. You see off the corner, look at the 50, Stephen Hollingsworth. What a save. That could have been absolutely devastating for the 19 of Richie Coy there on the inside of the racetrack. You see those two Furin Motorsport guys trying to get the 50 away from them as quick as possible here. And also right behind them, you have Lane Allen in the number 14 machine. That Bass Pro Shop Silverado, always a great looking paint scheme. My cousin used to run it, and here he is right now trying to continue to climb up back inside, further into the top 10 as he sits in 9th right now on the inside of the number 50 of Hollingsworth.
Hollingsworth continued to surprise me. He's getting better and better as this season has progressed, coming to 3 races left. He is a lone driver on his team over at Virtual Racing Team. The 50 is just continuing to find himself inside the top 5, top 10, really just continuing to battle these guys with no help on the track. We've already had 2 super speedways, well, actually 3 technically with Atlanta now. He just continued to be up there. He's just doing it really well. Been very clean with everyone all season long, being very respectful. So shout out to that 50 team for doing a good job there. But you're still seeing actually 23 getting around his teammate, the 19 of Richie Coy, which Richie looks like he's still struggling on these long runs. He just cannot find that speed. But if this race continues to go green, there's a long green flag run here still to come. So hopefully the 19 can muster up some speed here late in this run.
Yeah, and these guys are going to have to pit like 1 to 2 more times depending on how they decide to take this strategy all the way to the end, because we talked about it, 40 to 50 laps on tires practically. These guys pitted on lap 42. We're going all the way to lap 150, so realistically, you look at it, we're going to have to pit another 2 times. You're going to have to pit pretty much only a handful of laps before lap 150, so this is going to be really close. So a caution would definitely save a lot of these guys when it comes to strategy. You see the 14 of Lane Allen barely gets to the left rear quarter panel of Richie Coy there off the corner, and Tyler Brown continuing his march towards the front. But you did talk about the 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth. You said you wanted to touch up on him a little bit. Obviously, being a rookie this season, he's only 47 points out of first place right now. He's 4th currently in the rookie standings, along in front of him with Alan Duranko leading, and then Tommy Schaefer in 2nd, minus 12. Cody McKinney, another rookie, minus 35. So it's been a pretty good rookie battle all season long. A lot of these guys, they want to try to prove themselves here in the Martin Sports Truck Series, and they're doing just that. And Stephen Hollingsworth has been a driver who, since I've been a part of Nerd TV, has definitely continued to improve ever since I've been with y'all.
Yeah, 100% there. And I think we saw a little bit of wall contact there by the 33 of Williford exiting turn 4 that last lap, as we're actually looking at Steve Angie here and Bobby Terrell. Angie gives all the space in the world as he goes another lap down here. Actually, his first lap down for that 69 truck. So Bobby Terrell now has the top 20 left to lap. They've got 10 trucks currently 1 lap down or more. A decent amount of those guys was from that big one that we saw about 30 laps ago. But this race has just really been basically what you talked about, Jason, in the beginning of this broadcast, is you just race on the track, right? So a lot of these guys are just kind of spaced out, feeling their stuff out. We got a decent amount of laps left before we see the pit stops here. If it does remain green the rest of the way, is we're going to go on board, at least with a replay here of, the track. As you got some guy coming down pit road now. It looks like maybe green flag pit stops might be starting. Okay, it looks like he had some issues here, so he's coming down with an unscheduled stop here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too. Some of these guys are going to be having unscheduled pit stops. Some of them are just trying different strategies. But the 54, tough night for him. That's Rick Webb in that number 54 Toyota TRD Tundra. Truck's really been in the back most of the race. He's been kind of flirting, I believe, with the top 15. But other than that, hasn't really had much ground alongside too. With Maxwell Soltru still 2 laps down. So tough nights for some guys. Unfortunately, the Monster just wants to continue to eat up their hopes and dreams and also their trucks here tonight. Going to be a lot of bent sheet metal going home in the virtual haulers here after tonight's race at Dover. But still, Bobby Terrell continuing to impress me, trying to win another Dover race. He got about 2 3/4 of a second gap over Cody McKinney right now. But we talk about green flag pit stops starting soon, Jeremy. I want to say you're probably going to start to see them around the lap 80 to lap 90 mark. You're really pushing it at lap 90. Anything over, you're really risking making that right front tire go down completely practically and having absolutely no tread, no grip, no nothing. But fuel, obviously not really that big of a deal. It's really just about tires.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. I actually want to touch back up on that previous thing I was talking about. When Rick Webb, we saw him come down pit road, he actually had a pretty decent wreck there coming off of turn 2. That's why the camera tried to pick up that feed there. He actually got loose trying to get underneath the 42 of Milliken, hit the inside wall. He did 2 complete spins. That truck was well beat up. That was the 54 Rick Webb, and he came down pit road and resulting of that wreck. But I'm surprised that the iRacing did not throw a caution for that one, because I saw Steve Loomis only do a half spin on the top half of the track. iRacing said, boom, here's a caution for you. Then we had the 54 Rick Webb do 2 spin outs there on the bottom. He did come back up through the top or the middle part of the track temporarily, but no caution. So I'm not sure exactly what that was, but that's a tough break there for the 54. He's currently still on pit road, now sitting 6 laps down to this field.
Yeah, well, also, Jeremy, we too talk about, too, in the world of iRacing, for anybody who does not run on the simulator on the service, is whenever iRacing has a car that is spinning below this, and I know you know this well, but this is just explaining it to the viewers at home. Whenever a truck, like let's say we're looking at Lane Allen right now, knock on wood to Lane, hopefully nothing happens to him, but if he were to spin out below the concrete, onto the apron, down into the grass, iRacing is not going to throw an automatic caution. In their standards, that's below the racing surface. It's not affecting the race. Now, if he's sideways at least, I want to say it's about 30 to 90 degrees usually, probably 90 on the racing surface, that's when they're gonna throw a caution usually, or depending on the amount of speed that somebody is carrying. So that's probably not why, or that's probably why we didn't see that caution there for Rick Webb. So it's just the way that the service works. And whoa, what in the world was that? Did you see that right there? The 14 of Lane Allen. I don't know if he braked or if he hit the outside wall right there going into the corner, but Brody Hanna just had a massive checkup, and I think he might have some front end damage right there on the front of his truck right there. That was coming into turn 3 last time around. That was very, very odd.
Yeah, it looked like the 14 just kind of slowed up a little too much. Brody didn't expect that and got into the back bumper just a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect anything. It was such a light touch, so if there's anything from it, I know visually you might have some scrapes and dents there, but I don't really think there's anything more to that, just a visual effect there on the front bumper of the 23. But did not wreck, still good to go. And yeah, you're correct there. If you're spinning on the surface, if you've ever seen how these tracks are built, at least I know back in the NRA 2003 days, going through Sandbox, you can see different grids on what's considered a racing surface, what's not considered a racing surface, and you can create standards essentially on which part of the track that you want to. So if you say, hey, this is the racing surface, the game's going to be a little more particular, a little more cautious on who's involved in an incident versus what's considered apron or pit road. So you nailed it exactly to the T there. If you're on the track and you have an issue, about 30, 45 degrees even, I think will, as long as the speed is a huge variance to what's on the track average, you're going to find that caution. But see the 14 going around the 08 here. This is for 4th place. These guys are having a good battle right now, and also the 00, Tyler Brown all over the back bumper, the 23 of Brody Hannum. So a couple little 2-truck battles here within the top 10.
Yeah, well, also right there, that last time around, I know that I believe Stephen Hollingsworth was the first one to pit at lap 80, and Justin Diltz pitted on lap 76, so we're starting to get some green flag pit stops here. The doors have kind of opened, not fully yet. We've talked about this before. The door's open, but not fully yet. Once you have one of those guys up inside the top 5 to top 10 range, once one of those guys pits, that's when you're going to start seeing guys really know, all right, guys, it's time to start pitting. Let's get our strategy ready. Let's make sure, we get down to pit road cleanly. Because not to mention the fact, too, Jeremy, everybody always wants to talk about every track having a really tough pit road entrance, and obviously every track besides the cookie cutter mile and a halves. As you see the 50 of Hollingsworth really fast compared to everybody, this is when trouble could really brew up as he's working around all the trucks right now. But back to my point, it's really tough to get onto pit road here at Dover. You either want to enter on the bottom of the apron entering turn 3, or you want to slow up in the center of 3 and 4 and somehow, some way get down to the bottom into the corner right there at the pit entrance line right there, heading into the corner. Then the commitment line is past the barrels. So you might see some issues with some guys trying to get on a pit road here once these green flag pit stops really start happening.
You're watching this superhero run here by the 50. He actually just pitted 3 laps prior. So you're just watching him eat these trucks alive. And actually, the 02 Duranco hits the wall there right in front of him, drives down extra low. But look at this speed. He's just, 1 lap ago, he was behind the 3rd truck behind him right now. And now he's coming up to the 14. He's going to cleanly pass him, no problem, through turn 1 alone. Says hello and goodbye. Just for reference here of how small this track is, he came down pit road, and now he's 2 laps down. He gave up a top 10 spot, now he's 2 laps down. So now he's probably going to gain a whole entire lap on his own, right? But then this is where you decide how the strategy is going to play. You don't want to just run qualifying laps at this point. As much as you feel like you might want to, you can't, or else you're gonna gain those spots now, but then in 40 laps you're gonna lose it all back. So you got to figure out what he's gonna do there. But the 50 is gaining some massive ground right now, as we're now on the number 28 of Cody McKinney, who is actually 5.5 seconds back over your race leader of the number 4 Bobby Terrell. So Bobby, his late run truck right now is second to none compared to everybody else.
Oh, yeah, he keeps continuing to absolutely grow that gap between him and Cody McKinney and the rest of the field here, Jeremy. And also, we talked about, too, about the 50 making that what you deemed as a superhero-type run, and sure enough, it is. Stephen Hollingsworth was running an entire second faster, if not a second and 2 to 3 tenths faster than the rest of the field. So that just goes to tell you how much ground you can make on tires. And just think to yourself, if he would have pitted a little bit later and let the run go in, he would be even faster than what he's running right now, just because every lap these tires wear consistently more and more and more. And it's just going to become an absolute devastation to these tires pretty much. And then Stephen Hollingsworth is just going to be able to fly, and then that's when trouble starts brewing, like I talked about before. You've guys on old tires and new tires. It's going to be hard to determine, all right, who's going where, what line do I choose, and so forth. And just for some statistics right now, Bobby Terrell ran his fastest lap with a 23:18. Right now, currently, the last time he went around this racetrack, this 1 mile concrete oval, he ran at 24.52. That's a second and a half slower practically than what his best lap is this race. And I guarantee you, when he comes across this line here, we're going to see on the Apex Racing TV live time and scoring, it's going to be slower. I'm guaranteeing it right now. Yup, by about 0.2 of a second. He ran a 24.54. So as these laps continue to wind down here, Jeremy, these tires continue to wear more and more, and the lap times get slower and slower.
And these laps do tick down. We got 60 laps left in this race. We're going to kick it to our final green flag picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back with you guys here to cover the last 50 laps.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back here for the final 48 laps. And there has been a lot going on as you guys are watching picture-in-picture mode right now. We got our sights on the 19 of Richie Coy. Look at that right side, completely destroyed as he slapped the outside retaining wall of turn 4 a couple laps prior, which I think we got it on camera. And that thing has been so much slower since he done that. And look at that, from the front fender back to the rear end taillight, there's the scrapes all up and down that thing. And the car or trucks are passing him left and right. We seen some guys pit. We saw your race leader to the 4 pit and a bunch of others. Right now, everything is not currently cycled through yet. I don't believe. As actually, we got
Bobby
the number
Terrell's
4,
in.
Bobby Terrell. Yeah, he's actually coming in right now. He's going to give up that race lead. Cody McKinney is going to be the next one to lead another lap here. So he just stays out at least for another lap or two. There's only 8 guys on the lead lap. So that just tells you that you got about 7 more guys that need to come down pit road before this thing's completely cycled through. And don't be surprised if you find that 50 P1 on the board after everyone does pit.
Yeah, and these guys are only going to have this pit stop, and then they can make it to the end. So I was off on what I talked about earlier with these guys being able to probably have to run 1 or 2 laps. I thought the tires weren't going to really last all that much, but they've been holding up a lot. I mean, you look at Cody McKinney, his last pit lap was when the stage ended at lap 42, and now it's lap 106 coming to lap 107. So Cody McKinney, if he wants to make up any time here on Bobby Terrell, he's going to have to pit. Not now, which I'm surprised he didn't pit that time by. Cody McKinney has to pit here in the next lap. He's just hurting himself by staying out since Bobby Terrell had about a 5.5, 6 second gap over the 28 here. If I were the 28, you're pitting this time by.
Yeah, you got just over 40 laps to go. This race is going by really quick, right? So you're giving up over a second now each lap that you stay out, and he neglects the pit road once again. He's either going to be running a bunch of qualifying laps once he comes out of the pit road after he gets his 4 set of good years on that truck, or he's got a different strategy that I'm not, in tune with. But we're going to find out here. We still have Ryan Chapman, too, the 27. He is not pitted. He's only 2.5 back of your race leader, Cody McKinney. Then Brody Hanna, the 3rd and final truck, has made himself down pit road here. He's going to get himself the final green flag pit stop for that 23. 2 trucks left to come down pit road as they stay out once again.
I think, honestly, right now, Jeremy, I think Cody McKinney, Ryan Chapman, and Joey McKinney are all banking on cautions right now, because when you look at it, everybody else is a lap down right now. Nope, and here comes Ryan Chapman, so that's -1 out of the 3 guys right there up at the front of the field. Brody Hanna's also exiting the pit road this time by. Ryan Chapman slowly rolls down to the commitment line at the start of pit road, right on the exit of turn 4. But Cody McKinney and Joey McKinney are probably, both of those guys are hoping for a caution. I mean, no doubt about it. They're going to be fast when they exit here and they start going, but they have lost a ton of time by staying out. And here comes Cody McKinney finally into the pit road. He's going to give it up. Joey McKinney's probably going to be next. And also, by the way, too, Tyler Brown just ran the fastest lap of the race that last time around with a 23:03 or 23:09 that last time around. So Tyler Brown's still fast here in the late going at Dover. Just don't know if it's going to be enough. But Bobby Terrell is going to resume the race lead here.
Yeah, the 27 to Chapman actually took a really conservative approach entering turn 3 apron. That's a lot slower speed. We saw the 28. He dipped down halfway through 3 and 4 to get down to the flat. So a lot more speed carried by Cody, and I think that's going to separate the 27 even further from this top 5, really, after everything does cycle through. Stephen Hollingsworth, I said he was going to be back to your race lead when everything does cycle through. Right now, he's currently sitting in 4th. I'm surprised he's not in front of Bobby Terrell, but Bobby was setting such a strong, I mean, really strong race pace, middle to late of this run, that it's kind of thrown off my little plan there. You see the 50 just barely in your screen there on the top hand side. He exited turn 4 as Bobby was essentially crossing the finish line there, and there is the 50, letting everybody by, because now his tires all of a sudden from that superhero run now about 40 laps older than everybody else's, so it's his turn to drop like a rock. And he might have to pit one more time. Everybody else, I think, is safe to go the rest of the way. So the 50 all of a sudden in a position where he's screaming for that caution.
Yeah, both Stephen Hollingsworth and Sylvain Jolly. Sylvain posted pitted on lap 99, so he's also hoping for a caution as well. But I mean, the way this race has been going, I don't really know. But hey, it's the Monster Mile. Anything's possible. We've seen countless times over and over again late in the going of whether it be a virtual or a real-life race here at Dover where guys will smack the wall. There won't be a caution, but then there's that occasional caution in the last few laps. So we'll have to see here as the race progresses on, but the laps are winding down continuously, and Bobby Terrell is absolutely putting a whooping on this field here tonight at Dover.
Just show you how well those pit stops went and the difference of Cody McKinney versus Bobby Terrell. Bobby pitted was about 7 laps earlier than the 28 of McKinney. They had a 5.5 second separation when the pit stops between the two occurred. Right now, Cody McKinney, 15.3 seconds right now, currently on the pylon on your right-hand side of your screen. So 10 seconds separated extra. That was over 6 or 7 green flag laps between the two, between the pit stops. So it was almost a second to a second and a half, somewhere in between there, lap time difference per lap. So this is what we talked about the 28, or you did anyways, of why he was shooting himself in the foot, staying out so late. But fresh tires, he's already gained 3/10 that lap. Can he do it in the next 35 laps? Probably not, but we're going to be entertained by it.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. And as we're approaching lap 120, we're going to be seeing just about 20 laps to go up on the board here. Or, 30 laps to go here. I can't do math tonight. It's been a long day. But as we approach, just want to pull out a stat book here. Prior to 2021, in the last 10 Dover races in the NASCAR Cup Series, usually the last caution comes out with around 25 laps to go, or less than 25 laps to go, should I say. So maybe we could possibly see a caution late in the run when these guys start putting down a lot of laps on their tires. Only time will tell, but continuing Bobby Terrell's march up at the front of the field, he has been amazing here tonight after taking the lead about midway through this race, Jeremy.
Yeah, this track is mentally taxing. So that late race caution that you see could just be a mental lapse, or some close battling late in the run. Either way, because you're trying to drive the corner as fast as you can without burning up your stuff. It's a lot of mentalness of saying, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that. I got to enter the corner this way. I especially have to hit my marks here, because if I don't, the tires are going to scream at me. So it's not an easy drive like a track like Kansas, or something of that nature, where it's just a flat, longer curved corner. And it's a roller coaster. You're climbing up the banking to exit the corners, dipping down to enter the corners. Especially with these trucks, when there's no weight to the rear end, you really just have to be easy on the throttle. And plus the wall sneaks up on you too. So there's a lot of different factors here that you usually don't have to think about at most of these other 1 to 2 mile style tracks. So we might see that late race caution. Haven't really seen that here from FTSR specifically, but I can't say that it's completely out the window. But Cody McKinney, going back to him, we're looking at the number 4. Currently race leaders. He's going through some lap traffic. Cody McKinney's already gained a full second since I mentioned to him about 5 or 6 laps ago.
Yeah, but it's definitely not going to be enough here, Jeremy. I mean, as the tires equalize out and stuff like that, I mean, Cody McKinney's just going to run out of time, unfortunately, and I hate to say that. I mean, the guy's almost 14.5 seconds back of the race leader. I can't see it happening. I think if Cody wants any kind of chance remotely at this win, he's gonna need to bank on a caution here, possibly, and maybe stay out. But at the same time, there's 14 trucks on the lead lap, so you're probably gonna have to pit if the yellow does come out. I can't imagine a lot of guys staying out. I mean, strategy varies. We'll sit here and say one thing where, oh, we expect these guys to stay out, but next thing you know, all of them pit, or oh, we expect them to come in and all of them stay out. So you never know what anybody's strategy is here. But I mean, with Bobby Terrell leading right now by just about 14.25 seconds over Cody McKinney, Cody's definitely hoping for a caution right now. And Stephen Hollingsworth's still third right now. I mean, he's 16 seconds back. He's got about 3 seconds up on Tyler Brown right now, who's back from him by about 2.5 seconds. He continues to catch him. But overall, a really good rebound for Stephen Hollingsworth here late in the going as Chapman passes Brown here for the 4th spot right now. And that also brings in Brody Hanna to the picture, who sits in 6th.
And we got a spin here for the fourth Roasted Gems Coffee caution break, and right on the money, 26 laps, 25 laps, right in there. Jason calls it. We're going to get a caution here to wind these guys up for about 20 laps on this restart. Everyone is going to have fresh tires. We're still trying to find that wreck. I didn't initially catch it, but once we find it, we're going to bring it to you. But man, this is going to set up for an excellent race here to end this race. And actually, the 08 Sylvain Jolly and the number 3 of Brian Bliss coming to turn number 1 on lap 125. Just a late corner entrance by the 3, and the 08 did not catch it. He comes down in front of the 3, and exactly like it looked like in turn 3 almost with the 17 of Steve Loomis. He got sideways almost 90 degrees, saves it, but it brought out a caution.
Yeah, you see right there, the 3 is already entering very, very shallow, but the 08 started to close the door a little bit. So honestly, really just a racing move here. Unfortunate circumstance, but really great save here by Sylvain Jolly. And look at this, I believe right now, if the scoring pylon is correct, Bobby Terrell, Cody McKinney, Hollingsworth, the entire field is coming in. So this could be the money stop, and more than likely will be here, Jeremy. And by the way, yeah, I know, I take a little bit of pride. I can't believe I called that caution there with 25 laps to go. I might as well go play the lottery here tomorrow.
I'll take 5% of whatever you get from that one, even if it's just $1. But I'm going to say Stephen Hollingsworth is your winner when it comes to this caution. Had that really early pit strategy, sitting in 3rd place, gets the caution, and there's only 10 trucks on the lead lap, so the 50 is going to get a huge break from this caution. Is going to reset himself inside the top 5, maybe top 10 at most, and have a great chance at finishing inside the top 5 here. As you've seen everybody exit pit road, nice and clean, single file exit out here. And yeah, it's the 10 trucks going to be on the lead lap, maybe 11, trying to find out who got the lucky dog exactly as everything does cycle through. But this splits the field in half here with the amount of people that just want to lap down.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we only have 14 trucks right now on the lead lap right now. And I mean, there's a lot of guys too who are in the back of that who've had solid runs tonight, and then it just fell off there late in the going. You look at Tommy Schaefer, he was all right too. Richie Coy still sits in the 11th spot, but he has struggled tonight, man. It's been unfortunate to see him struggle the way he's been. But right now, I mean, as the race is looking to play out, Bobby Terrell though has been so fast. I expect him to probably go out lights out and pretty much win this race. So we'll have to see, but my money's probably going to be on Bobby Terrell.
Number 22, Michael Blackner, is going to get the hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award from Martin Sports. As he is going to be the 11th truck on the lead lap here on this restart. So that's what last time we had the Lucky Dog Award handed out, we saw that person go to victory lane. So I don't know if the 22 has the speed with the damage on his truck, but at least he gets to go back to the lead lap and at least be in contention for a top 10 finish here. There's only 11 or 12 trucks currently on the podium that are on the lead lap. So let's see what he can do for that 22.
Yeah, currently right now there is, from what it looks like, you are correct. I believe it was about 10 or 11 trucks. I said about 15, but that was the scoring error there. And hey, man, Red Bull gives you wings. Never forget that. Red Bull gives you wings. If I mean, if we could have the winner, I believe it was in the Cup Series. If they can come from being a lap down, being the only one to get the Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award, we'll have to find out and see. I mean, Michael Blackner, though, currently, though, has that damage, obviously, sitting in 10th. I don't expect him to really be able to do much. But, I mean, who knows? We might have a pile up here off turn number 2 like they did heading into 1 and back in 2016 when Martin Truex Jr. Jimmy Johnson spun the tires, and Jimmy obviously got turned around in front of most of the entire field, and then Matt Kenseth went on to win that race. So it's a possibility. It could very well happen, but he's going to need to drink a lot more Red Bull and have a lot bigger wingspan and get that damage repaired if he wants to try to win this race. But so far, it's been all Bobby Tyrrell here, Jeremy. And Cody McKinney is going to be right behind him on the bottom side. But Stephen Hollingsworth, going to be interesting to see how that truck really kind of drives here on this restart, because now he's got the freshest tires. He's on the same strategy, but he still has that right side damage. Will he hold up that outside lane on this restart? And better yet, will he possibly cause an incident here off 2?
Stephen Hollingsworth did cycle back to second. I'm surprised he got second place there, but here he is after being in trouble with that early pit stop. Let's see what he can do with the number 4 as we go back to green flag for the final 20 laps here at the Monster Mile. The 4 and the 50 match each other, headed off into turn number 1. Bobby Tyrrell has the preferred lane here, but the 50's not letting up early. Cody McKinney going to try to take advantage. He has a really strong truck on these early restarts. Let's see if he can get back to the race lead like he did to end basically stage 1. He gets around the 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth. Now it's going to be the 4 and the 28 going to be duking it out once again for 19 laps left in this race.
Yeah, with 19 laps to go, you got to think to yourself, you're Cody McKinney, you got to be smart, follow and tail behind the 4, try to do something he's not doing. He gets loose out of turn number 2. That's going to give the advantage to Tyrrell down the back straightaway, but they're still separated by about 0.2 of a second. As you see, Tyler Brown all over the rear tailgate of Hollingsworth here off turn number 4. The 50 Space Force truck gets a little bit loose there off turn number 4. He'll drop him behind Brown. They might split him 3 wide, but Hollingsworth shuffles back in front of Brody Hanna there on the bottom side of the racetrack with Ryan Chapman in tow.
A little more spaced out than I expected on this start here as they're quickly winding these laps down here. Ooh, a little bit of wall contact looked like by the 33, I do believe, if I caught that correctly here. 27 actually of Ryan Chapman. Doesn't look like it's hurting him, at least through the initial 1 and 2 after making that wall contact. You don't want to do that. We saw some guys like the 17 where it makes a little wall contact and it kind of ends your night. You don't want to break anything in the truck, especially late in this going. You want to try to maximize your finish here, especially with a 27, because he did lose that points lead and now he's 55 back after missing 1 race. He needs to get as many points as he can, so kind of minimize that and try to get what you can. But the field really surprised Jason. We are at 16 laps to go and really spaced out right now. I would have thought maybe these guys are trying to tackle this track a little more, but right now they're just kind of hanging tight. Maybe with a few laps to go, we'll see some position changes.
Man, the last 3 laps, Jeremy, the entire top 3 went Tyrrell, fastest lap with a 22.88. Then McKinney went with a 22.86. That time around, Tyler Brown, 22.83. So the entire top 3 separated by 3/4 of a second. Currently are the fastest guys on the racetrack, and they are flying in Cody McKinney. This thing's not over, Jeremy. He's only back by about 3 to 4/10 of a second. One slip up by Bobby Tyrrell, and maybe if Cody McKinney could just save the tires a little bit, Cody McKinney might just be able to try to run down Bobby Tyrrell here. He's just got to be very smart, and he's got to time his line absolutely perfect here these next 13 laps here at the concrete oval.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on this. I think the 28 has got something reserved for this 4. I know the 4 was really fast in the long run, but right now that long run does not exist as we are coming close to 10 laps to go. I think the 28's actually gained on the 4 the past couple of laps here. Looking at the scoring pylon, 0.317 separation there, was 0.35 before, so he's making a small gain. Comes through turns 1 and 2. It looked like the 4 maybe gets a slight advantage through that corner. The 3 and 4 also identical, but visually it's a lot different. So maybe throwing some marks off for some of these guys coming through at the line here. Going to be 10 laps to go. Actually, it's going to be 11 to go. My apologies. And 0.304, so the 28 technically gaining just a little bit each lap.
Yeah, and it's really, really close. Their lap times are so similar right now. 0.3 of a second, almost 4. Cody McKinney, very good on entry compared to Terrell. Terrell's very good with exit speed. But McKinney is able to arc it just a little bit better than Terrell entering 1 and 3. And that time around, Bobby Terrell was faster, 23.16 to McKinney's 0.21. So Bobby Terrell is a little bit faster. As you see McKinney loose off turn number 2. McKinney has to, by all means, just keep running the line he's been running that's been so fast. Hopefully Bobby Terrell just burns the tires off this truck in the next 9 laps. Only time will tell, though. But Cody McKinney's starting to slip up just a little bit. Bobby Terrell has half a second on him as he works his way off 2 under the General Tire driving bridge.
It looks like that middle run of that 4 is starting to show its face real quickly here. Coming to 8 laps to go at the line. The 00 Tyler Brown 1.5 back, so he's kind of fallen off out of pace for the contention of the top 2. Brody Hanna in 4th place, 3.5 seconds back. So really the top 3 are basically locked in unless there's a mishap by one of these guys here. As you got there, the 23 under the attack by the 33 of Sherwood Williford, lone driver there in Patriot Racing Team. See if he can maybe get himself into 4th place to get himself an extra point here for this season close.
Yeah, we'll have to see right here as this race progresses for these next 7 laps who's going to be able to try to get a point or 2 advantage here within whatever you're able to do when passing. I mean, the drivers that are a lap down, they're obviously all battling for just up until the 12th spot with Justin Diltz right now. Tommy Schaefer's only back by about a 10th or 2 from him currently. So they're kind of having their own little battle a lap down right now. But then the top 10 right now, or top 11, all the way from Richie Coy, all the way in Michael Blackner as well. They're all trying to fight for a little bit of real estate here. Every point matters for some of these guys in the point standings, whether you're a rookie, a manufacturer, also not to mention the fact, too, team standings, too. I know those, I believe, are pretty close right now. Driver standings, not that much, obviously. Like Ryan Chapman back 55 points, but all these guys fighting, they want to try to get every single position they can. You see the 29 of Schaefer looking to the bottom of Justin Diltz right there. That's for the 12th spot here as they work their way off turn number 2 heading into 3.
That's your top guy there for 1 lap down, so that is a very important position. Whoever, if there is a caution, whoever's leading between those 2 trucks will get your lucky dog presented by Martin Sports. So, and they're just really duking it out side by side. The 29 of Tommy Schaefer, he's had problems all race long on the bottom of turn 1. He just continues to touch the apron and really loses that speed through corner, center, and exit. And right now, the advantage goes to the 91 of Justin Diltz. So if there is a caution, the 91 is in position to get his lap back. As we are still with 2 laps to go, it doesn't look like we might have a caution, but you never know.
Yeah, and this time by, they'll be approaching 2 laps to go. And Bobby Terrell, man, we talked about it. Didn't really have such good short-run speed. Cody McKinney looked like to be a possible threat there in the beginning. And look at this, man. The entire top 10 is about to be the only trucks on the lead lap. Bobby Terrell is about to pass the last car on the lead lap, Richie Coy. Unfortunate night for the Haskell, New Jersey native, one of his home tracks in a sense, and he's dropped all the way to the back, and now he's the first car 1 lap down. But as they approach this time by, Bobby Terrell has absolutely put on a clinic tonight at the Monster Mile. He'll take the white flag, 1 lap to go here from the Monster Mile, the Concrete Canyon, whatever you want to call it. Bobby Terrell looking to claim another Monster Trophy tonight in Delaware.
Just has an excellent truck for this place here, coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to collect, I believe, his first checker flag here of 2023. And there he is going through turn 4, and Bobby Terrell is going to win the Dover 150 for the Martin Sports winning moment. Job well done by Bobby with just an excellent drive all race long. I think every ounce of that truck does not have any damage to it. Just a great job, great performance by that team. Fury Motorsports setting him up, new partner to the team this year. Gets his first W for the team. Congratulations, Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, what a clinic he's put on recently here at Dover. I mean, within the the second to third, fourth quarter of this race, Bobby Tyrrell was lights out. Once he got past all those guys who were front runners in the first quarter, he was gone pretty much. He never looked back, and I guarantee you right now, I know exactly what he's doing. He's going to pit road. He's not going to burn it down. He might burn it down afterwards, but he is going to go and check his tire wear probably, which is I know for a fact is a big thing that most iRacers do after some of these events where tire wear is a big thing. So right now he's probably looking at what his tire wear is in the garage. But congratulations to Bobby Tyrrell did a great job here tonight.
Checking the stat book instead of burning it down for a celebration. If it was my first one of the season, I think the engine would expire before I even got out of my truck. But going to do it nice and clean there for the virtual number 4. As that's going to wrap up the race, we're going to go over the unofficial results here tonight. As we got 30 trucks to look over. Bobby Tyrrell, the number 4, going to be your race winner this evening. Cody McKinney does end up in 2nd. Tyler Brown in 3rd. Brody Hanna in 4th. Sherwood Williford takes home top 5. Number 3 of Brian Bliss in 6th place. Sylvain Jolly keeps it in 7th. Stephen Hollingsworth 8th. Ryan Chapman 9th. And tonight's top 10 finisher, Michael Blackner.
Rounding out the top 20, first truck, 1 lap down, tough break. Richie Coy comes home 11th. Justin Diltz 12th. Tommy Schaefer 13th. Colton Gum rebounds for a 14th place spot after struggling the backhaul race. Long was very strong at Talladega this past Monday for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Kyle Milliken comes home 15th. Joey McKinney 16th. Lane Allen comes home 17th. Shad Curran in the 6.6 machine comes home 18th. Tony Solari 19th. And Rick Webb rounds out the top 20.
21st, Alan Duranco. 22nd, Robert Malikian. 23rd, Steve Loomis. 24th, Brandon Elder. 25th place goes to Randy Henshaw. 26th, JP Burns. 27th, Steve Angie. 28th place will be Maxwell Solsch. 29th, TJ Bartell. And tonight's 30th place finisher, the 55 of Jeff Brayton. And that's going to bring us to our full screen commercial break as we're going to gather our top 3 and get a word with them. We'll be back with you guys after a few messages. And welcome, guys, to the Martin Sports Post-Race Show. We're going to talk to you guys' top 3 finishers here from the Monster Mile to get their take on this 150-lap race here tonight for the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series. First up, 3rd place finisher, the 00 of Tyler Brown and the Roasted Gems Coffee Chevrolet Silverado. Do you have a copy?
Yep, loud and clear.
Man, congratulations on 3rd place. What a really clean race for you. Stayed out of trouble. You had that massive wreck early on. Thankfully, you weren't a part of that. And then just walk us through your night. How did you prepare for this race, and how did you bring it home in 3rd?
Well, we didn't really prepare a ton for it. Tommy Schaefer helped me a little bit with some setups, and last minute I made a couple changes that I think hurt the truck. And we just didn't have the long run speed that we needed there in the middle of the race. But that first stage, I knew that Cody was fast. He's usually always pretty fast. We work with him a little bit, him and his brother Joey and Randy and everybody. And I just honestly tried to keep it clean and fall to the back or so. Well, not really back. I'd say 10th or 11th or so. And then we'd save some tires for a few laps and then get after it. But all in all, I'm just happy to come away with a good, clean race, no incidents, nothing that I'm really aware of, and put her up there in the top 3. Have a good night.
Well, Tyler, you did a really good job coming home P3, because at one point you fell all the way back, and I want to remind you of this. You had a huge moment there off turn number 2. I was nervous because I thought you were going to overcorrect or you were going to slam the inside wall. Truck was going to come back up from a safer barrier and take out the whole field. I don't know if you remember, but off turn you got really loose, man. You didn't hit the wall, didn't do nothing, but you were probably about 7 to 8 inches from hitting that outside wall there, man. What was going through your mind when you saved it? Because you had a really good save besides Sylvain Jolly's save there in a turn 1, which brought out one of the last cautions.
Well, at that pit stop at the stage, Cody, I noticed I couldn't really gain on him there at the end of the first stage, and I made 2 changes, tire pressure and the spring offset on the truck, and I wasn't. It's funny you say that because me and Cody were literally talking about wrecking each other on that restart, and I just kind of got out of my rhythm and got on it too hard, and yeah, it was a handful to save it. I think we fell back to about 12th or 13th or so there, and then had to chip it back away, but just happy that we didn't put it in the wall, and like I said, came away with the top 3 and had a clean race.
Just a quick follow-up question. When you said that you made a late race change that kind of hurt your truck, was that more of a mental thing, or was it like something you physically noticed? And what kind of change did you make to the truck?
Well, I made a spring offset change, like I said, after the first stage to try to gain a little bit, and then I noticed that in that longer run that it slowed me down, and then so I went the opposite way. I went back to 0, and then I went the opposite way, and it didn't like it either. So I think it was a little bit of both. Maybe 20 lap shootout. Everybody's on fresh tires, racing real hard, and so probably a little bit of both, mental and a little bit of the truck.
Yeah, his mental plays a big part of this track as well. But congratulations, though. You brought it home in 3rd place, so job well done. The floor is yours. Any final thoughts before we let you go tonight?
I just want to thank everybody that makes this go around, Brody, all the admins, Richie Coy, everybody that's involved. It's a pleasure, having us here and whatnot. I love racing with these guys. My teammate, Tommy Schaefer, me and him, work on setups a lot. Cody, Joey, Randy, Nick, everybody that I practice with and get on here and run with week to week.
I appreciate all the words there. Go ahead and celebrate with the team, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was your 3rd place finisher, Mr. Tyler Brown. Now it's time to bring in 2nd place finisher, Mr. Cody McKinney in the 28 Broughton's Kennels Toyota Tundra. Cody, do you have a copy?
I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations on 2nd place. Job well done there. Just the whole race was really good for you. At one point, I thought maybe you were going to have a good chance at the race win. You passed 2 trucks on the 2nd restart of the race, got yourself to 1st, held it for a while. What do you think the difference was between you and the 4 Bobby Terrell?
He's just got more laps than I do here. Personally, for some reason, Dover does not like me most of the time, and for some reason, it was a little different. But yeah, normally I don't got a lot of laps at Dover. And we were talking before I came up here. I mean, he's got, thousands and thousands of laps. So the experience on the track definitely played a factor in it. And yeah.
Yeah, Cody, I mean, to come home 2nd tonight, that's got to be a really good feeling for you and your guys. I mean, you ran really good all night long there. We were talking there during the green flag pit stops there, right before that caution came out with 25 laps to go. And I was sitting here in the booth. I was like, man, I don't know if Cody's banking on a caution. I don't know if he wants to try to see if he can run down Bobby in the late green flag run. But I was like, well, Bobby had a 5.5-second gap over him, pitted. And then every second that he's running on the racetrack is a second gained on you, and then a second loss for you. Do you think maybe, regardless if the caution would have came out, let's just say it wouldn't, if it wouldn't have on lap or with 25 laps to go, do you think you maybe could have pitted a little bit earlier than Bobby to try to leapfrog him on that last green flag stop?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because when I came down pit road, we still had about 10 laps left of fuel, so I was not expecting him to pit as early as he did. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. And by the time I realized he had already came down pit road, I was already a lap and a half over. So kind of threw that off a little bit. But yeah, I looking at it now, I kind of wish I would have pitted maybe even a lap before him. So
Yeah, the strategies are big here, and tire wear, so it's a massive deal. And you said experience there with Bobby with way more laps than you, and I can concur. This is one of the tracks that took me about probably 2,000 laps to finally just realize, hey, this is how I need to drive the track. Beforehand, I was garbage here as well. So 100% understand that when it comes to Dover, you definitely need the experience to help you around this track for 150 laps for sure. But all in all, though, you still finished second place. So awesome job for your team at McKinney Racing, and congratulations on that. The floor is yours, though. Any final thoughts before we let you go tonight?
yeah, appreciate y'all for the broadcast week in, week out. FTSR for putting on the truck series, everything they do. Been been fun so far. Overton Speed Shop, they gave week in, week out they give me fast trucks. Um, just haven't been able to put a whole lot together. So glad we can get P2 form tonight. Agent Inc. Apparels, Brian Kennels, and yeah, so let's try and get them next week.
Yes, sir. We got 2 more weeks in the truck series to round out 2023A. Good luck the rest of the way, man, and have a good night.
Appreciate it, y'all too.
Yes, sir. And that was the number 28, Cody McKinney. Now it's time to load up the Martin Sports victory lane as we're going to bring in the number 4 of Bobby Terrell from the Ford Performance Ford F-150. Bobby, do you have a copy?
I copy you.
Hey, man, congratulations on winning this thing. It's been a little bit since we've seen you up here. I know last year in 2022A, you were no stranger to victory lane, and it took you a little bit longer here with your new team at Fury Motorsports to get the job done. Walk us through your race. You had to pass some trucks early on, and then that long run happened, and we found out that you had a rocket ship that brought to Dover.
Yeah, I had to start at the back, for penalty last week, and then just work my way up to the front. I mean, setup was awesome. I, can't thank the team enough, but just kind of worked my way through the pack, and then got up in the, top whatever it was, 6 or 7, and we had the stage break, and then just went from there. So. Didn't really know what I had because those guys are so fast, but just methodically worked my way to the front.
Yeah, Bobby, you talked about right there that you didn't know what you had compared to these guys, but you clearly had something, man. We were just talking to Cody for his second place interview, and he was saying that compared to him, you have what he deemed as thousands of laps listed here at Dover. I just want to know from your take, as being a guy who lives near Dover, and this track is one of my favorites to run on iRacing, even though a lot of drivers don't like it. When did you really start figuring out how to really run this track? Because honestly, it really is a love-or-hate track. For drivers, we talked about it during the race and pre-race. This is a driver's racetrack. So when, in your mind, did you really find out Dover and think to yourself, oh, I actually enjoy this track. I know that it's a driver's track. Even though there's not a lot that goes on, I'm just very good at it.
It's like you said, it's a driver's track, and I've always kind of used this track as a like a test bed, I guess you would say, just to test different setups for different things. And um, I like the concrete. I like the way it drives. It's a it's a rhythm track, kind of like Bristol. The corners are a little bit different, uh, but not too much different. But uh, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy this track. I mean, it's a track that I just love. And sometimes like I said, if you don't have a a good set, and for me, it's got to rotate the center really well, and the setup did that tonight. So, but like I said, I do have a lot of laps at this track, but I do love the place.
And when you come to a track that you love, it just makes it that much easier to get in rhythm. Like you said, it's a very rhythm-like track, and there's a lot of different lines you can approach this place. But all in all, yeah, if you can rotate the center of the corner the way you did makes your job a lot easier to at least find yourself in podium, if not in victory lane. But congratulations again, Bobby, your first win of the season. Any final thoughts before we let you go this evening?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates and then the league, Full Throttle, for putting it on, giving us a place to race. Martin Sports for sponsoring it. I mean, you know, um, without those guys, uh, they give us a place to race. And you guys up in the booth, y'all do an excellent job. Uh,
Appreciate those
sh-
words. Oh, go
Shout,
ahead.
yeah, shout out to the other drivers too. There was a lot of give and take, and that makes the race go a whole lot better.
Yeah, it really does there for sure. But yeah, congratulations once again. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was your race winner there, Mr. Bobby Terrell, the seventh different winner of this season so far. Really diverse amount of drivers bringing home W's for 2023A. And Jason, you got your glasses on. What you got over there?
Yeah, just, checking out the stats and everything like that. This has been a really fun season so far since I joined Nerd TV and everything like that. Bobby Terrell, though, man, seriously, what a performance. He talked about it, and he said exactly what I would have said if I would have won this race. It's a driver's racetrack. We talked about it in pre-race. We talked about it during the middle of the race. It is a track where you either love it or you hate it. The monster loves you or the monster doesn't love you. You're going on a date with Miles. You got to do what Miles wants you to do. You can't do what you want to do or else Miles gets pissed off and Miles is going to end up taking your car, grabbing you, and bringing it to the outside wall or inside or flying up in the air like the one of TJ Bartel was earlier on in the race. But overall, great race, a lot of good driver etiquette. Bobby said it best. A lot of guys giving and taking. That's what you want at a racetrack like this. It gets tight. It's fast and stuff like that. We had one major wreck. We had a good finish. Coda McKinney comes up just short a little bit. He talked about if he would have pitted, if the caution wouldn't have came out, if he would have pitted earlier, he thinks he would have been able to get Bobby Terrell. But now with 2 races left, I mean, these next couple races, you got Kansas and you got Darlington. So it should be a fun next 2 races for us. Dover, though, didn't disappoint tonight.
Yeah, that was a really fun race to be a part of here. And yeah, 2 races to go, Kansas and Darlington. And definitely looking forward to those races, especially Darlington. I love that place, so that's kind of cool to end out the season at that facility. But I'd like to thank everyone once again before we do bring this thing to a close. First, Dustin, appreciate you behind the camera, behind the scenes, doing everything every single time we are live. And there he is on camera and giving his thanks there. I know you do awesome work. Continue that work. Give him the bow as Jason's doing there. Also, give a shout out to our sponsors. Full Throttle, simracing.net, FTSR.net. Sign up. You got 30 guys competing each and every time we're on air with these for you guys. So if you want to be part of that action, FTSR.net. Got Mach 1 Performance, your Cup Series sponsor. It's a fabrication shop that's produced champions from all sorts of local racing divisions. Find them at Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points. It's your league points management system that allows you to completely track your league stats and more with one simple upload. Find them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get your notifications a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action. Find them at iRacingIFlag.com for a full product line. The Butt Kicker, ultimate feel from a race car with the haptic response system from their systems. Find them at thebuttkicker.com for a full product lineup. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. Find them at teamwatsonracing.com for pricing and packages. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with Roasted Gems Coffee at roastedgems.com. And we have 2 more weeks left. Well, 3 weeks in the Cup Series and then 2 more weeks before we take a 1-week hiatus and then come back at you live for 2023B. But we're going to catch you Monday here from Dover at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, you guys, as always, stay safe and to make sure to get your nerd on.